How's it going, folks? Recording my final puppy draft. Actually, I have one more to do, but I'm going to do it at the gym after this. So this will be my final recorded puppy draft, number 149. Got the 101, so we'll be grabbing Mr. Ja'Marr Chase and seeing how things go from there. Could look to do something with a Higgins and shoot for maybe a double with Burrow. I've only done that once in this contest. I wouldn't hate a second one. Obviously, Arizona is their Week 17 matchup, so we could kind of see if we can get an Arizona piece. Maybe go with Kyler if we're not going to do the Burrow thing. The nice thing about that is sometimes Burrow will fall all the way back to you at pick 72 then. But if I've paid up for Higgins and Chase, I just take Burrow at 49. I'm not willing to fuck around and miss out when I have the double set up. I think it's like too bad if you miss them in that case. If I just have Chase, I don't really give a shit if I get Burrow or not. But I mean, I will take him at 72, 73 if he's there usually, unless I've already got a quarterback somehow. Christian McCaffrey been sneaking up the board a little, making pick 12 kind of nice. Being able to get two of these top wide receivers. I kind of want to start to get some more Christian McCaffrey myself. I haven't really figured out a great way to do it. The way this guy did it seems pretty reasonable, where you take McCaffrey and then take London or A.J. Brown. I've done it with Bowers before, but it's kind of tough when you don't get any wide receivers in the first two rounds. You can recover from it this year, whereas previous years it was almost impossible to, but I still don't love it. So McBride goes before us. So for correlation picks, we have T and Marvin Harrison. They're still on the board. We'll see if either of them go before our pick. Well, we'll have a shot at one of the two. Let's see if we have a shot at both of them. I've been looking to up my Garrett Wilson shares as well. I like that he offers a shot at Justin Fields, but I think this time, since I'm going to go with this, I'm just going to build up the game stack and go all in. She usually leads to like a 0 RB team, but we'll see. Interesting move could be to pull up Kittle, because say McBride goes off in this game, Kittle's one of the tight ends that can fight him and have a similar spike week game with a monster ceiling. So we could look to maybe do Burrow and Kittle at the turn if Kittle makes it to us. I would assume Burrow makes it to us. Kittle is more up in the air for sure. I was liking the idea of getting James Conner mixed into these stacks sometimes. Like, probably not necessarily in this exact formation, but say I had like one Bengal, one Cardinal, grabbing Conner and then getting Kyler. But man, James Conner just like has not been falling to the end of round 6 anymore. It really hasn't felt that way in my rooms anyway. So, gonna look to add Burrow. Kittle is already on my radar as possibly their other pick. Could take a peek at running back. if somebody were to fall to us that we liked. Nice get for the Bijan McBride guy, being able to get Garrett Wilson. I think my favorite picks after T. Higgins are Garrett Wilson and Rashee Rice. But wanted to go all in if I was going to take both Bengals. I wanted to get a Cardinal to go with them and hope that this game just goes absolutely berserk week 17, should we happen to get there. I like to start with Neighbors, Glad, Brees, and Lamar. It's pretty good. Pretty strong start there. So DK Metcalf, I don't see too much that should change my mind on what I kind of wanted to do here. So let's go ahead and take Burrow and Kittle. So week 17 game for San Francisco is the Bears. Probably not a ton we can do with Bears. We might be able to get Burden. Probably not going to take Loveland because he would be a bit expensive to pair after spending so much capital on George Kittle. So probably won't be too interested in Loveland. Obviously, Roschon Johnson later is an option. And Kyle Monangai can be a round 18 dart. I've only selected him once in this tournament. I think he's pretty thin of a bet. Definitely like Roschon a lot more. Roschon's pretty interesting. If they don't add anyone at running back, which I'm not really sure we should suspect them to do at this point, like they'd kind of have to dislike Monangai to bother with fucking with free agency. I know people are like crazy over these teams signing Dobbins or Chubb, but I think that these teams think a lot less of those guys than the public seems to, or else they'd already be on teams. Right now, like the Chargers are just going to end up with Dobbins if nobody offers him a contract, I believe, due to the restricted free agent tag they put on him. I think they get him for like $1 million if nobody signs him before a certain date. So I don't see why they wouldn't want Dobbins for $1 million. Like I'd prefer to have Dobbins as my running back 3 than Kamani Vidal. Although maybe they do a little different things, but Dobbins is actually a decent pass catcher as well. And Najee is a decent pass catcher, so it's not like they really need Kamani Vidal for any specific reason. For running backs down this way, I'd kind of be looking at Caleb Johnson or Judkins. Maybe Connor, but I don't know if I want to build like another piece into that Arizona Bengals game. I could consider going like complete bonanza on that game. I don't think that that's too crazy an idea, but like I said, Connor really has not been making it down here. But I don't know. I'll consider him if he's there for sure. Huh, that's interesting. Ricky Pearsall was one of the guys that I had on my radar for my pick. Probably going to be deciding between Judkins and Caleb Johnson. All right, Connor did make it down here. I like have not done this once with this exact grouping, so sure, I'll go ahead and do that. I could pull up Ayuk. I kind of like the idea of just going with another running back here and then grabbing 2 wide receivers on the way back. So let's go with Quinshon Judkins. It's definitely playing with fire here, only having 3 running backs through 7 rounds. Or, 3 wide receivers through 7 rounds. So let's see how it works out. I do really like the wide receivers that are available in this next turnaround. And so one of the reasons why I sort of changed my mind and actually am going to try this, even though this is something I wouldn't normally try, is I was definitely thinking about grabbing Ricky Pearsall. And then if I wanted to grab Purdy, I would have had to do it at the next turn. But now I'm like not as stuck on having to end up with Purdy for any reason because I didn't get Pearsall. I could have brought up Ayuk. I did consider that, but I kind of wanted to try this out because I don't really construct teams this way. Like I never only have 3 wide receivers through 7 rounds. But I do really like the wide receivers you can get in rounds 8 and 9. So it's on this end of the board. On the other end of the board, different story because wide receiver in round 9 dries up like about midway through the round. So we started with 3 straight wide receivers, then went 4 straight non-wide receivers. Then let's see, maybe we'll go 3 straight wide receivers again. It is possible. But I think if we have 5 through 9 rounds, we'll be feeling okay. Glad to see Michael Pittman go at this end of the board. Wow, Caleb Johnson at pick 88. That's nuts. What value? That guy is suffering like we are at wide receiver. He has A.J. Brown, Adams, and Worthy, and then no other wide receivers. So, hey, at least we'll have stronger wide receiver firepower than one person in our queue. Wow, surprised to see Josh Downs go off this early. That's one of the players I was hoping to get. Burden was another player I was hoping to get, so be interesting to see what is available down here. It is pretty much down to just Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris. So this did not work out at all for us. This went bad. Now I'm just hoping to get one of the 2 players. So I guess this is a lesson learned the hard way for me. Oh my god, we got saved. Wow. So these were like the last 2 wide receivers that I wanted that are in that normal 8-9 area. Plus, it's nice that they play against each other week 17, so that's awesome. Whew. I thought we were getting hosed on that one. I thought we might not get either of them. If we didn't get either of them, we were going to be in bad shape. Bad shape. So that was a bit of a miracle. We had 3 straight non-wide receiver picks before me. That was incredible. Thank you. Oh, we didn't even... Yeah. 4 straight non-wide receiver picks right before me. Whew. That was awesome, and I'm glad it worked out that time, but that was enough to scare me into maybe not trying this again anytime soon. Like, I'm fine with these first 5 picks. I'm fine with taking one of these running backs, but maybe I should have just only taken one of these running backs. Got very lucky. So we should have Herbert as an option on our next pick. Probably do that. Maybe look at what's on the board for wide receiver or running back at that point. I'm pretty big into Travis Etienne at the moment. I like him quite a bit more than Michelle Tootin. I think coming out, Etienne was a much better prospect than Tootin. Last year, he dealt with some injuries and stuff. I don't really think that was like the real him last year that we saw. So I'm hoping Lee and Cohen can turn it around for Etienne. Tootin definitely has a fumbling issue on top of like he's a terrible pass blocker as well. So you don't really want Bigsby out there catching passes because he just doesn't do anything afterwards, and then Tootin can't block. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity for Travis Etienne. That said, looking at Najee Harris to pair with our Justin Herbert and Trey Harris could be pretty interesting as well. All right, let's go ahead and do that then. We'll take our Justin Herbert and we'll take Najee. I do prefer Etienne to Najee, but I don't want to be like so stuck in that one take, you know. Najee could end up with a splitting role. He pairs with Justin Herbert. Got him 11 picks after ADP. So, yeah, pretty happy with that turnaround as well. Wasn't really too much consideration I gave to wide receiver here. Jack Bech was my favorite wide receiver on the board at the moment, at the time of the pick, but I just thought I needed a running back more. Thankfully, like I said, this worked out here so that we got some decent wide receiver firepower. Should be able to get Quentin Johnston sometimes here at this 144, 145 if we want him at wide receiver. We don't really need to think about another tight end for a while, so we have George Kittle. Wouldn't mind getting Roschon on the other side of that game here with George Kittle. As far as other side of Quentin Johnston, pretty much the only person I'm really interested in is Pat Freiermuth, who I wouldn't mind pairing with George Kittle on top of the fact I just like him a lot as a pick, and he would work decently with Judkins as a Week 17 pairing. Let's see what his ADP is, 166. Nice thing about him is like we could push him obviously to this 168, 169. If we lose him, there's some tight ends that I like decently enough. I think I've talked about Juwan Johnson a few times. He feels like my get out of jail tight end. Maybe some crazy value falls to us here at the turn where we want to reassess. So we definitely don't want Trey Benson because we have James Conner. So that's something I always have to keep in mind. Like Tyler Algier a lot. Javonte this late would be a nice pick. Not the biggest Javonte guy, but if you want to give him to me in the 140s, sure. I will jump on that. Don't need quarterback lit up at all. Ferguson would have been a nice pick. Here goes Javonte. So, got my eye on Quentin Johnston for sure. Could do a pairing of Isaiah Likely since I don't particularly feel the need to get any of these guys exactly. Likely does have a huge ceiling, or do I want to just take the ceiling with my Tyler Algier? I'm just going to go with Tyler Algier. Likely would definitely have been a strong consideration there with to go with George Kittle because he has massive spike week potential. Rethinking the pick, maybe I should have passed on Quentin Johnston and went with Algier and Likely. So something to consider out in the future. Maybe I got a little too quick on the trigger seeing my stack piece there. But, I mean, I don't hate Quentin Johnston. He's just meh. Very, very meh pick. So we'll have some options here if we want to go 7-7 or 6-8. Definitely only drafting 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. It's been a lot of talk about the 2 quarterback versus 3 quarterback builds. The data in the past has showed 3 quarterback builds to be stronger, especially in the playoff weeks, but I think that this market is a bit unique. Like, there just aren't very many cheap quarterbacks. Like, we're in round 13 and we're already down to this, like, Penix, and round 14 probably Cam Ward and Bryce Young. Like, you used to be able to get these Bakers and these Genos like more down here in round 16. So I think the opportunity cost of drafting 3 quarterbacks is actually like the highest it's been. These elite quarterbacks, I don't really consider Joe Burrow an elite quarterback, which I know says, then dumbass, why did you take him in round 4? Well, the only time I'm taking him in round 4 is if I both these Bengals, and I'm really more shooting for this just being a week 17 monster explosion. Like, obviously, Burrow, I think, threw for 4,800 yards last year, so he can have season long explosion as well, but it is mostly geared towards trying to hit that massive game. Week 17, I would like Roschon if I can get him. He may or may not make it to our pick. Looks like our boy Freiermuth went off a bit before our pick, so could push tight end. I like Pat Bryant a lot. He has another week 12 bye. That doesn't super concern me. Definitely taking Roschon here. Do I give a shit about any of these tight ends? Yeah, I'll go ahead and take actually Mike Gesicki to go with our Bengal stack. Be done at tight end. So we've got Gesicki, Higgins, Chase, Burrow. We've got Herbert with Najee, Harrison, Quentin Johnston. We have comebacks of Jaden Higgins for Herbert. We have comebacks of Harrison and James Conner for Burrow. We've got a little mini correlation with Roschon and George Kittle. So all in all, looking pretty good. We're kind of all in on these 2 games, really, for week 17. So we need one to be a massive hit and one to be a minor hit. Just deciding if I would rather have an 8th wide receiver or a 7th running back. Guess we don't really need to make that decision just yet. It's probably not much to do with correlation because we're kind of beat correlation into the dirt already. Guess Tutu Atwell and Tyler Algier in the same game. Don't know how much I actually give a shit about that. Definitely do not want to take Andre Yoshivas. We have 3 pass catchers with Burrow now. That is enough. Ooh. There is a player in the same game as Tyler Algier that I would much prefer to Tutu Atwell. Jarquez Hunter. So let's hope he makes it to our pick. And at wide receiver, I'm kind of looking at like Darius Slayton, I guess, is my favorite pick on the board. I end up with like him a lot. I like De'Ami Brown quite a bit too, but maybe he could be there in round 18. So let's kind of star up a couple guys here. There goes our Slayton pick. It kind of sucks. It's definitely all in on Jarquez Hunter. My question is, do I want to take De'Ami Brown? There's just not much else on the board that I love, so let's go ahead and do that. Feel decent about our running back room, so feel decent about our wide receiver room too. I think we kind of have like a pure luxury pick on the end here. we'll just kind of see what falls. I mean, maybe like if a Giddens were to fall all the way back, which I don't think will happen, or some sort of wide receiver I'm fairly into. Jordan James is an interesting last round pick. I think we have George Kittle going. I don't mind Tutu. I don't mind MVS. Don't mind the Vikings guys, but don't really have anything going on with them. I think all three of these rookies like have a decent amount of upside as well if we end up wanting to go with a wide receiver. Don't mind Westbrook Akine, but we really have nothing going on with him. Don't mind MVS. So kind of looking at one of these picks here. If I didn't already have three Bengals, I would consider Taj Brooks, but I don't want to go any further into that than we already are. We have three pass catchers from the Bengals, two players from the Cardinals in that game already. Oh, oh, that was so dirty. All right, I'm really gonna take a decent upside pick here in Io Manor. I'd rather add to the wide receivers than the running backs. I was gonna snap pick fucking DJ Giddens, so that kind of sucked. It appears our draft is stuck. Did give us like Io Manor, so that's good. So we ended up with Burrow and Herbert, great at quarterback, Connor, Judkins, Harris, Algier, Roshan, and Hunter at running back. Pretty pleased with that for a 6 RB, 0 RB room. Definitely would have liked to get DJ Giddens tacked on to the end of this, but we're not quite lucky enough to pull it off. Wide receiver, we have Chase Higgins, Harrison, also another Higgins, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnson, De'Ami Browns, and Io Manor. And obviously cooking at tight end with our boy George Kittle and any other decent tight end. Is Mike Gesicki another decent tight end? Maybe not, but he correlates. Thanks for watching and good luck in your drafts, folks. Next time you see me, it will not be a puppy, unless it's the puppy too.